Hello, everybody, and welcome to Relatively Gaming. My name is Turn-Based TJ, aka TJ, and I'm joined by my wonderful, incredible, fantastic, phantasmagoria host, Enigma 9011, aka Brett. How you doing today, Brett?
I'm doing great. See what I mean by intros? I say the awesome one, and boo, and you give the list like I'm fucking entering the knight's court or something like that.
To be fair, I did say phantasmagoria, which I think is an old
Still,
way to
I don't. I mean,
show
I'm
horror
impressed.
things. Yeah. I think it's a magazine. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. The men's are going to win a medal in the Olympic hockey for the
Woo!
Team USA. So I'm excited. USA.
The only
USA.
time
So
we'll
I'm
chant
excited.
that for a while.
Yes. And then I'll go back to hating the United States right
Yep.
afterwards. But I'm very prideful for the Olympic team. Well, great. I'm glad you're doing good. We've got a lot of gaming news, or at least I do this week. So why don't we just dive right into it? Actually, you know what? Let's not dive right into it. Let me explain a little bit about the show.
Rigmarole.
We are relatively gaming. We talk about some gaming news. We talk about what we've been playing. We have a fun mystery section, and then we talk about a game that we would like to play in the future, or maybe a game that's on our backlog that we would like to play. So, Enigma 9011, Brett, why don't you kick off the news for us?
Sure. Before we get into the breaking news as of an hour ago of recording, I'd like to remind everybody next week is, or rather, as this podcast drops on YouTube and Spotify, Steam Next Fest has begun. So, over on Steam, there will begin plenty of demos from independent titles to AA titles that you can try for free at your leisure. TJ and I are going to be diving into those next week as well. And next week's podcast will be a little bit more focused on those titles. I don't know if it will be like a Steam Next Fest only thing, or if it'll just be like an extended what you've been playing highlights of our demo experience from Steam Next Fest. That's going to be running from the 23rd all the way until the following Sunday. I believe the 1st. You'll have to double check dates. But 23rd, that Monday for sure it starts. So if you'd like to, jump on that and take advantage of the fun opportunities and get some new games to add to your wish list. Now, breaking news. Microsoft is fucking going to hell. Jesus Christ. This is coming from IGN and Ryan McCaffrey. Shout out to Ryan, doing awesome work for many, many years. Phil Spencer retiring, Sarah Bond out, Matt Booty, yes, that's his name, promoted as Microsoft AI exec. Promoted as Microsoft AI executive, Asha Sharma named new Xbox boss. Hoofa. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer, who has been at Microsoft since he joined as an intern in 1988 and with Xbox since the software giant launched its first console in 2001, is retiring. Sources familiar with the matter who are not authorized to speak publicly confirmed to IGN Spencer's retirement is effective on Monday, February 23rd. Today. Meanwhile, today is release. Xbox president Sarah Bond, long thought by many, both inside and outside of Microsoft, to be Spencer's heir apparent, has resigned. The new CEO of Microsoft Gaming will be Asha Sharma, currently the president of Microsoft's Core AI product. I can read. Finally, Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty is being promoted to Chief Content Officer and will work closely with Sharma. Quote, I want to thank Phil for his extraordinary leadership and partnership, unquote, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said in an email sent to Microsoft staff. Quote, over 38 years at Microsoft, including 12 years leading gaming, Phil helped transform what we do and how we do it, unquote. Full emails from Nadella, Spencer, Sharma, and Booty are below. And that article goes on into those emails and more, so please go give your click over at IGN and Ryan. And other articles, I'm sure, are covering it left, right, and center. Holy crap. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, that was the news that I had just read, so I'm glad you covered it.
Gotcha.
Wow. Yeah, the AI department head being promoted is a little concerning for me.
Sure. Yeah, I saw I think it was somebody's quote off of a Blue Sky tweet. So, I mean, grain of salt and double check articles and do your research and whatnot. But they made sure to say, like, we're going to still focus on studios and not just make a bunch of AI slop now. Which was slop was the determined, like, the word that was put out. I'm like, okay. Why would you okay call it slop if you're trying to push this thing, but whatever. Yeah, it's nuts. Allegedly Phil Spencer was just on Kind of Funny doing an interview, and he talked about like the future of Xbox, and things seemed well there. So to have this retirement obviously on a Friday and then happening immediately on a Monday, like, I mean, obviously if this is his decision, I hope it is, to step back, you know, that's his life. He can do what he wants. I hope he's happy. But that, along with the successor, Sarah Bond, just leaving, it's like, whoa, like all these things are happening all at once. Like, that seems like a bigger thing than just, hey, I'm Phil, I'm actually tired, I want to, you know, ride off to the sunset type thing. It's like, wow. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, and I feel like they're doing this on a Friday as well, because like, you know how like they'll usually fire people on a Friday so that they don't get upset, kind of thing. So they have the weekend. Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like it's like that at least, or it's like burying the news so that way the weekend news will overtake whatever this news piece is. But yeah, also a little concerning that they use the term AI slop and had to come out with a statement that said we're not going to do that, because it's like, well, I don't think we said you were going to do that, but it's a little alarming that you have to come out and defend yourself in that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of telling on yourself in a way.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can scroll back and find it exactly. Because that would, yeah, if we can find that, that'd be a little bit more better for clarity, obviously. I got a lot of people on Blue Sky talking about it right now, all surprised, talking about, obviously, Phil leaving being a big thing, just because, yeah, he was always the figurehead. Oh, okay, here, it's an article from Kotaku. Perfect. One moment as I pull it up. This is from Zach Swizen from Kotaku. Xbox's new boss promises not to flood it with soulless AI slop. Jesus
Oh my
Christ. Xbox boss Phil Spencer is retiring after 12 years, leading Microsoft's gaming division. His replacement is Asha Sharma, the president of Microsoft's core AI product division. And in the new Xbox head's first memo, she promises to avoid AI slop, but makes it clear that AI will be a part of the brand's future. Yeah, no shit. On February 20th, as reported by IGN, Spencer is stepping down from his role as CEO of Microsoft Gaming after over a decade leading Xbox. While many assumed his replacement would be Sarah Bond, the president of Xbox, that wasn't the case. Bond is also leaving Xbox alongside Spencer. Instead, Sharma has been chosen to lead the Xbox division. And in her first memo to the company, obtained by The Verge and later shared by Xbox, the former head of AI at Microsoft promised the return of Xbox, quote unquote, and claimed she would avoid flooding Xbox with AI slop, but that it would, quote, evolve, quote unquote, and be a part of Xbox's future. I'll read one more little small chunk here. Quote, as monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop, unquote, said Sharma. Quote, games are and always will be art crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us, unquote. Okay, I mean, I'm glad to hear that. It's kind of hard not to be a little bit of a pessimist here and be like, okay, you said the thing, now do the thing type of thing, and not just say it to save face or paint yourself in a good light with what's going on. And, you know, it is a little negative, I would say, from my part to be like, oh, well, you worked in AI, of course, yeah, you're going to be all for it. Like, to just kind of point the finger of blame and be negative about it, but it's hard not to with how AI is blowing up, as we've talked for numerous episodes, and you know, people are suffering for it. And if it's not going to be this positive thing in this dream scenario and everything that we want, like, people are just investing potentially in this too much too quickly, and people, resources, all that are suffering for it. So we want to pump the brakes on that type of thing. So.
Yeah, there's a story I'll cover later on that also involves AI and how it is negatively affecting the industry in ways which you may not think or consider. But yeah, it's definitely an industry-wide problem for sure right now. So it's a little concerning that it is her that's taking over. But maybe the company's just going in a different direction. Maybe they like her leadership and not necessarily what she brought to the table of
For sure.
AI. Could have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But only time will tell for sure. But it's especially concerning that she's like, but we are going to use, like, we're not going to do AI stop, but we are going to do AI.
Sure.
Is what she said. Is what that boils down to. If you remove the corporate speak, she's like, we are still going to do the AI. So it's a little alarming, something to keep an eye on for sure. We'll have to see how Microsoft pivots, especially considering she said that it's going to be the return of Microsoft, whatever the heck that means.
Sure. On the other side of the fence, on PlayStation, they were in the news a lot this week. To start off as a positive on my part, they claim there will be no price increase to PlayStation 5. They're going to hold steady at the price that they have, even with the RAM shortage and what we've talked about in the past. So that was cool. Also, on a selfish note, PlayStation 6 has been delayed to either 2028 or 2029. From a selfish standpoint, I think this is great because I do not want to drop, as we've talked about, another $500 to $1,000 on a console. I think there's been a lot of great titles on PS5 for sure, but I don't know if we really need to jump, if there isn't even a jump to the next thing. It still feels like there's a lot of potential from the PlayStation 5 that has not been tapped into. And I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't, like, the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 life cycle seemed longer and seemed more rewarding. And while we're 5 years in, which is crazy to see, or hear, technically 6. Jesus Christ, the cat is being the cat. We're 5 to 6 years into this cycle, which is crazy to think because that was pandemic launch and time has been wonky ever since the pandemic, unfortunately. It's just nuts to be like, oh yeah, we're ready to do it again. So to hear that they're pushing it, personally, I'm like, cool, yep, great, let's stick with this. I don't want to even think about next gen. So glad to hear they're also taking a step back. But like I said, all things were not sunshine and rainbows on PlayStation's side of things, unfortunately. Dropping yesterday. This comes from Game Informer and Charles Hart. PlayStation shuts down Bluepoint Games, maker of Demon's Souls and Shadow of the Colossus remakes. Bluepoint Games, one of the several studios under PlayStation's umbrella of developers, is being shut down by its parent company, according to a report from Bloomberg. The closure means roughly 70 employees will lose their jobs. The studio is best known for remaking games like Demon's Souls and Shadow of the Colossus and supporting work at other PlayStation studios. Quote, Bluepoint Games is an incredibly talented team, and their technical expertise has delivered exceptional experiences for the PlayStation community, unquote. PlayStation spokesperson said in a statement received by Bloomberg. Quote, we thank them for their passion, creativity, and craftsmanship, unquote. Bloomberg writes, Bloomberg writes that the spokesperson also said the closure was due to, quote, a recent business review, unquote. The most recent news out of the studio was that it was working on a live service game in the God of War universe, but that was canceled before ever being revealed publicly. The news is shocking, largely due to Bluepoint's high-quality track record. The studio was founded in 2006, but wasn't acquired by PlayStation until 2021. Demon's Souls, the studio's most recent project, is a remake of the game of the same name that launched alongside the PlayStation 5. We gave it a 9.25 at the time, calling it a delightful treat. Bluepoint also assisted in the development of the God of War Ragnarok game, which landed a 9.5, lauded as their second favorite game of 2022. That's the entire article from Charles. This sucks ass. Bluepoint is great at what they do. I've only played a little bit of Demon's Souls personally, but it was a stunning game as a remake that they made. Shadow of the Colossus was beautiful, and they did a phenomenal job of remaking that. Obviously, the support they've done was really, really good. To have them be acquired not launch anything since being acquired because they're making this Jim Ryan live service project that he was all gung-ho about, of like, everything's got to be live service, everything. To see more and more shit happen because these games just never came to fruition, and it was kind of like a failed direction, and to have more and more layoffs and another studio shut down because of this just sucks. Bluepoint did great work. People were clamoring for them to possibly do the long-awaited Bloodborne remaster for ages. Even if they were going to do like something original, like, they could have handled it. They were great. So this just blows that since being acquired once again by PlayStation, they had nothing to show, like, of their own 2 feet. Like, the support work, fine, okay, great, we appreciate that, but for themselves, it's just like, nope, couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and I debate whether or not to get a PS5 sometimes just for NHL and other games, exclusive games and stuff. I could be playing Ghost of Yotei right now, for example. But one of the games that's always on my list when I consider a PlayStation 5 is Demon Souls. To me, that is the system seller in how beautiful it is and how great it looks to play. I never really got into the original Demon Souls, so this would be a way for me to experience that game. But that game, even you're talking about the PlayStation 5 being 6 years into its lifespan, even 6 years into its lifespan, I still look at Demon Souls and laud it as one of the system's greatest exclusives. So
Absolutely.
it's really sad to see that studio is no longer going to be making games because they did great work.
Yeah. And then I got 2 smaller pieces of news. These are more positive, so don't worry, we'll get more back on the hype train. This comes from Blue Sky and Wario64. Shout out to him. He always gives amazing deals and heads up. So if you want to follow somebody, whether it's on X or Blue Sky or wherever he is, please give him a follow. Slay the Spire 2 early access trailer did drop. Apparently early access is starting on March 5th. And Slay the Spire includes 4-player co-op. Quote, brave the ascent on your own, or play with up to 4 players and face the spire together in an all-new co-op mode. Discover multiplayer-specific cards, power team synergies, and carry your friends, or get carried, to victory. So that was cool.
So basically, we have to play this game together.
I was going to say, we do have the opportunity to play it together, now that you got me into it. Yep.
Yeah, we might. You might wait till after early access, but
that was going to be my.
We gotta play this game.
But
yeah. I might jump into early access. Honestly, I might break my early access rule for this game. Sure. So there's a couple games that I've broken my early access rule for. Slay the Spire might be one of them because man, I love that original game so much.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And then last but not least, Pokemon Presents is next week as a recording. So next Friday, February 27th, there will be a Pokemon Presents, aka Nintendo Direct type thingy. I believe it's 6 a.m. Pacific, so 9 a.m. Eastern. There's already been, I believe, confirmation that Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are coming to Switch 1 and 2 digitally. I believe I saw that today for $30. We'll have to see what
it was $20.
$20, thank you. Okay. That's much better. And then we'll have to see what other fun announcements they have for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, whatever they're celebrating this year.
Yeah, they've been Pokemon's actually been sponsoring the Olympics. A lot of the intermission reports have been like it's like the Olympic hockey intermission brought to you by Pokemon. So they've been kind of spreading their wings a little bit. Just to touch on that Fire Red and Leaf Green leak.
Yeah.
I said it is going to launch on February 27th, according to the leak, the day of the Pokemon Direct or whatever the heck they're calling it. But it is $20 for a 23-year-old, 24-year-old GBA game.
Sure.
I don't know, man. I just feel like every smartphone since smartphones have been a thing has emulated Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Sure.
Not mine, obviously, because that would be illegal. I would never do that. But just every phone is capable of emulating that game and has done so because the virtual buttons on a phone work perfectly for Pokemon. So to see them charging $20 for it is a little absurd, in my opinion. I think they should have added it to the collection, like when you subscribe to whatever Nintendo's membership is called. I forget what it's called now. Um,
Nintendo Switch Online or whatever.
yeah, Nintendo Switch Online. I feel like they should have added it to that or something, but to charge a standalone $20, in my opinion, that leaves a really sour taste in my mouth because I just think that's a little absurd when my phone can play it just fine. I mean, other people's phones can play it just fine.
Nintendo's gonna Nintendo, TJ. They charged $60 for Mario Galaxy Collection. They charged 40 or more for the 3-game collection, Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy for that Mario collection that only lasted 3 months. Yeah, no. Nintendo's gonna charge whatever the hell they want to charge. So, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, nice that the official thing is out there, but yeah, bummer.
yeah, huge bummer.
Yep, that's all I got. What do you got for news?
Well, I was definitely going to touch on Slay the Spire. That was my big piece of news because
Oopsie.
I was really excited. I watched that. No, that's good. I'm glad you covered it because, like I said, we should definitely play that game together. And if you've never played Slay the Spire before, please give it a chance. It's very fun. Um, Back to AI though. Steam Decks, you can't buy them right now. And Valve put out a report. They're confirming that Steam Deck shortages are caused by the global RAM shortages. And the global RAM shortages, they even mentioned specifically due to AI. So AI is causing the RAM shortages, which is causing no more Steam Decks to be able to be sold at the moment. So that's also internal reports are claiming that that's putting a delay on the Steam machine, but Valve has had no word about that yet. So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, this RAM shortage thing is no joke at all.
Yep.
It is hitting a lot of things. For example, the Xbox Rogue Ally X, another computer-like handheld video game system, is becoming more expensive in Japan. And rumors are sparking that it will receive a price hike across the board, that Japan is just the testing water for raising the prices, and that they'll have to inevitably raise the price across the board due to the RAM shortages as well. So the RAM shortage crisis just continues and is affecting the video game market heavily. Uh, Not good, especially with handhelds. I hope the Switch 2, that I hope they hold on to their commitment and promise to not raise prices in 2026 like they said previously. Fallout 76 is having a big update titled The Backwoods, which is launching on March 3rd. This update includes Bigfoot. Yay! Everybody loves Bigfoot. Even though Bigfoot is associated with the Pacific Northwest and Fallout 76 takes place in West Virginia, Fallout 76 has a history, a running theme of cryptids, and Bigfoot is like the most well-known cryptid. So, just to name a few cryptids that are already in Fallout 76, you got Mothman, Wendigo, the Grafted Monster, the Jersey Devil, Alien, Smiling Man, the Beast of Beckley, Snallygaster, Blue Devil, and many more. So, Bigfoot kind of captaining the team there is pretty cool to see. I'm sure they'll have a story implication of why he's no longer in the Pacific Northwest. Um, Pretty cool to see. I do like the cryptid stuff. I jumped into Fallout 76 during the Mothman saga, so I was pretty happy with that. There was like a Mothman museum area, and you could get little trinkets and stuff to put around your house. It's pretty fun. So I hope they do the same thing with Bigfoot and just kind of have a huge to do about it. It would be really cool. Piece of news I'm surprised you didn't cover. Mewgenics has surpassed 1 million units sold. Not only has it surpassed 1 million units sold, making it the best-selling game in 2026, Mewgenics beats Hades 2 to become the most played roguelike ever.
No, I'm just kidding.
Mewgenics reached a peak of 115,000 concurrent players on Steam. Hades 2 previously held the record with just under 113,000 concurrent players. I will say there's a caveat and asterisk to this, which is Hades 2 launched on the Switch at the same time and also is on other platforms, whereas Mewgenics is exclusive to Steam. So if you want to play Mewgenics, you have to play it on Steam. I feel like that's a big reason those numbers are so large. But yeah, a million games sold is no joke at all.
No.
Pretty good. I'm very happy for the success of that game, even though it is a bizarre game, but I'm very happy for the success of it. Um,
Damn, million.
yeah, million sold. Baldur's Gate 3 sees another update. um, which was surprising because they said no more updates. But it's just focusing on stability and corrupted save files. While it's not a big update at all, it is nice to see that they have continued support for the game just to increase stability, even after all this time, even after they are, for all intents and purposes, balls deep in the Divinity development. They're still going back and doing some stability patches to Baldur's Gate 3. That is the type of quality that we like to see from Larian Studios and something that they're known for. With Divinity Original Sin 2, they did the same thing like years and years after the game came out. They would still patch some things up. So it's great to see that, especially for those Iron Man players who, you only have the one save file. So if it gets
Oh,
corrupted, it just destroys your entire run. So that's good to see. And then there have been some leaks about Resident Evil. You know what? I'm gonna save the Resident Evil
oh.
leak. Oh, was those fake too?
Oh no, sorry. I was thinking a different thing. I saw somebody been like, somebody says that Resident Evil 10 is going to come out in either 28, 29, or 30. And the person who tweeted it was like, yeah, no shit. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
no
But was
shit.
it
Those are
RE9
not the
stuff?
leaks I'm gonna cover.
Oh, okay.
Um, but before I cover that, because I don't want to end my news on a downer, so I'm
Sure.
gonna say a downer piece of news first, and then we'll go to the Resident Evil, which is exciting. The downer piece of news is that the gaming community mourns the loss of Shutaro Ida, the developer who worked on Castlevania games and started Artplay, the devs behind the Bloodstained games. He died at age 52 after a battle with cancer.
Hmm.
Um, I personally love Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I think that's a fantastic game. I've loved the games that he worked on. He worked on the GBA, I think, or the DS Castlevania games.
Hmm.
Those games are fantastic. You can still play them today in the collection that they have. They have the Castlevania Advanced Collection, and you can play it on Steam. They're really good Castlevania, Metroidvania style games. They're like incredibly good. So, it's sad to see him pass away. He was definitely a gaming legend all around. His legacy will live on as they are making another Bloodstained game that is in its final stage of development now that he had worked on. So, um, okay, and back to the Resident Evil leaks on a more happier note. It says the leaks suggest that they are going to make more remakes, and the next remakes are going to be of Code Veronica and Resident Evil Zero. Now, talking with our local Resident Evil correspondent, Mike, he, yeah,
Mike?
he was saying that Code Veronica, a game I've never personally played, is pretty campy and pretty
Hmm.
cheesy. So he doesn't know how they're gonna remake that one and into the modern time without it being so campy and cheesy. So we'll have to see how that goes. And then Resident Evil Zero, which is kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Resident Evil games, especially the original ones, because the storyline's a little retconny and a little weird. I honestly don't know how I feel about them remaking these games. I'd rather them have remade 5, or I would have rather them have remade Resident Evil 1. I
Mhm.
think a first person Resident Evil 1 game would be incredible because there are a lot of fans like you who, and I'm getting this idea from Mike, by the way, as well. So this is not an original idea, but there are new fans like you who have never played Resident Evil 1, have never seen it, and you're gonna go back and play that 2002 GameCube game, and it's gonna punch you in the dick.
Sure.
It's pretty brutal. It's a pretty difficult game still. It's very easy to hard lock yourself,
Oh, lovely.
and just like fuck your file up. So yeah. You should still play the game, by the way. Great game,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's very difficult, and has some nuances. It's really one of those games where it's like you gotta kind of know what you're doing, otherwise you'll be a little bit screwed,
Mhm.
maybe. So a remake of 1 for all these new fans, I feel like would have been a great direction instead of going for Code Veronica and Resident Evil Zero. But who knows? Maybe they're ramping up for a giant Resident Evil 1 remake at some point in the future, and they're just doing all the games around it, like the ancillary games. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I feel like Code Veronica has been rumored for ages now. So I chuckled at the beginning when you said this news story, or at least smirked over here. I don't know. I have no faith in it personally of either of those being made. My question was going to be, yeah, why do you think they're avoiding Resident Evil 1 so much? Like, obviously, the remakes, we started with 2, went to 3, went to 4, and they've all been phenomenal. I wonder why they're avoiding one. Like, Wesker was in one, correct?
Yeah, he's like
He's
the
like
big
an.
bad of one.
Oh, he is the big bad. I thought he was a cop or something
Well,
originally.
I mean, spoiler alert.
And
He's a no, he's a good guy cop. Just play the game. He's a good guy. He's on
oh, okay.
stars. He's
Oh,
fine.
okay. See, I feel like I remember seeing him there, and then obviously I only know Wesker from Marvel's Capcom. Yes, we had to say Marvel's Capcom in this podcast. Like that's the first my first appearance of him. Like, oh, cool, Matrix guy. All right, great. So I'm curious why they're avoiding it, because in the current remakes, Jesus, it sounds like we're talking Star Wars or the MCU with how convoluted sometimes referencing these games gets. The newer
Yeah.
remakes, we've gotten one reference of Wesker, I believe, at the end of RE4 remake in the
Correct.
post credits. Okay, so like he's established. I wonder why they didn't go back to that one. I mean, I get like two's like really popular. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like wondering why the delay. Is it just because Chris isn't as popular as Leon? Like Jill seemed like this most important thing in the world in the original games, and then everybody got mad when she got like taken over with the chesty thing. Once again, Marvel's Capcom. That's where I know Jill. But like, she's nowhere to be seen in the new remakes either. So like, do they just hate these characters or what?
I feel like for one, they don't want to remake one because one has already been remade. So
Eh,
it would be a remake of a remake because the 2002 GameCube version is a remake of the 19 whatever,
sure.
the 1900s PlayStation version.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I feel like that's my only logic that I can come to a conclusion of is they're just like we don't want to remake a remake. So maybe that's it. But otherwise, I don't know why they'd be avoiding one so much. And as to them setting up Wesker, I felt like that really pointed to Resident Evil 5 remake coming out, which is what I was hoping for because Wesker is a big part of Resident Evil 5. So,
Which, not to interrupt you, I apologize.
no, go ahead.
Like these current remakes. Okay, I guess we have gotten Jill because she's already 3. I'm bad.
Yeah, sorry,
My
3.
bad.
Yeah.
Like Chris has only shown up in the newer, later titles. He shows up.
Right.
Spoilers, everybody. He shows up at the end of 7. He shows up at the beginning of 8 and around it. Like we don't like Chris is just a dude, and for like if you're a newbie like me, like I know a little bit more, but if you're really newbie and you're like, oh, Chris is just the guy who messes with Ethan. Like you don't know that Chris punches a boulder. We have no origin of Chris. So like when are we like where's our entry point with him? Is he just gonna be forever man in dark trench coat that takes babies and hates people who are in first person? Like
Yeah, that's why I really feel like they should do Resident Evil 5 instead because Chris and Wesker are both the main characters. And also, can you imagine punching boulders in the RE engine? I mean, come
sure.
on. Come on, man. The physics. Think of the physics. It'd be so
RE4 was
good.
crazy enough, the remake. So yeah, well, I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah, and also Chris is very important in RE1, obviously, so they should do that. I don't know. I just think that it would be a misstep if they did Code Veronica and Resident Evil Zero next. I would still buy them and I would still play them like 4 times each, but you know, I won't be happy about it. Gosh darn it.
Sure.
I'll be in the background shaking my fist, being like, why, Capcom? Give us the Chris games,
Yeah.
please. Except for 6. Don't give us 6 again.
Well, maybe they can fix it with the remakes. They haven't really changed much as far as I know in the current set of remakes other than gameplay stuff, but they could rewrite narratives and do a better logo that doesn't look like a giraffe receiving, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad that's all you know about Resident Evil 6 is that
It is.
the logo
Well,
looks
it's a multiplayer game, right? Or you can play it multiplayer?
oh, the fuck if I know. I never played Resident Evil
Okay.
6.
I feel like I watched Max and his buddy play it, but maybe that was 5. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
5 you can definitely play co-op.
Oh,
Which
okay.
is
Then I
sick.
probably don't know anything of 6. Yeah, just the cover art.
Yeah, and think of the gameplay of Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
but 2-player, like the remake.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But
That'd
2-player,
be
that
fun.
would be so. That's Resident Evil 5, basically. That's what they did. I mean, they took the Resident Evil 4 gameplay and made it Resident Evil 5. But
Sure.
imagine that with the modern Resident Evil 4
Well,
remake.
nobody played Resident Evil Resistance and Resident Evil Revelations or whatever the multiplayer
Hey,
PvE shit they did.
don't shit on Revel. Those are my favorite Resident
No,
Evil games. Is
it's
Resident
I'm
Evil
probably got the
Revelations.
wrong titles, but they released, I think it was Resistance. They released one like with RE7 or RE8 and they were like, I think included in the package, or maybe you paid a little extra. But yeah, it was like multiplayer, like Dead by Daylight esque type,
Oh, okay.
not balanced teams where one person would be in charge of like the monsters and then the other people were trying to survive and get out and fight them off. And I never played it, but they didn't do too great from what I heard. It's not what
Yeah, but
people
this is
wanted.
co-op.
Oh
This is
sure, yeah,
co-op.
you
This is
know,
what
no,
people
I
want.
was just
Yeah.
making the point like they've already made multiplayer
Okay.
in that engine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair. Just not the multiplayer that I
that we
want.
wanted.
And
Yeah.
yeah. No, specifically that I want. And
Oh, okay,
Capcom has to
fair enough.
serve me
Yeah,
specifically. That's
they
its
don't want you
job.
shaking
So
your fist in the back.
yeah. Well, hey, they're putting Leon in Resident Evil 9, so they are giving me what I want. So they did listen to me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for our news section. So now we'll get into the section called, Hey Man, what have you been playing? So Brett, what have you been playing?
Hey man, I don't know. I feel like it's been a down week for me. I played 2 new games last night because I was like, oh fuck, I have nothing new to talk about when we're gonna be recording. So I'll touch on a returning and a finale that I did. Wrapped up Far Cry 5 yesterday on stream. Had a great time with it, going through the Seed family. I know I keep bitching about resistance points. Turns out I was doing them wrong. It's still a little bad to grind, I'm not gonna lie, but everything else shines in this game. The support characters, your main villain, the tenseness that it makes you feel. I gave praise to Jacob Seed's area and like his gimmick at the end of stream, like how when I first played it, how that made me feel, and then like returning to it, being like, oh yeah, okay, I remember. I really like this section, or at least what they did in terms of a narrative. I already shouted out the supporting cast; they're great. Obviously, the gunplay is very, very good. They get rid of some of the normal Ubisoft gimmicks of like climb this tower, do this thing, that you have to do to discover the map. It's just like open and available to you. So if you want to do it like I did it, where it's section by section, you can do that. Or if you want to hop around, mix it up whenever you want and choose to, that's awesome that you have that freedom and availability to you. Absolutely loved my time with Far Cry 5. I'm glad we jumped back into it. And I think I can proclaim that Far Cry 5 is my favorite Far Cry. I think it is top 3. There's a lot of good stuff in Far Cry 5. I know I can see you on the tip of your tongue. You're going to say Far Cry 6 is going to be my favorite. We will see, because I will get to that.
No, I wouldn't. I would never proclaim that, especially since watching your stream at twitch.tv/enabling911.
Thank you.
Please go follow and watch. I watched the end of Far Cry 5 last night, and I've never seen the ending of that game, and it actually blew my mind and made me respect Far Cry 5 a lot more than I previously had, especially when you talked about, I'm not going to spoil anything here.
Sure,
You
yep.
talked about if you pay attention to little pieces around, like little news segments and like little things, you can kind of get clues to where the end is going. And I was like, that's really clever and cool. And yeah, it made me really respect the game a lot more. So I definitely, I wouldn't say that Far Cry 6 might top that, because I don't think the story of Far Cry 6 is not that deep, but it was the gameplay that I fell in love with. So
Gotcha.
I'm hoping you like that part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I know the ending was very controversial for a lot of people when it did happen and when it did come out, but I was one of those where I was like, yep, I liked it a lot. It resonated with me, and that's why I've held it towards the higher end all these years. But yeah, I think returning to it, I think it takes that top spot. 3 obviously has a lot of the nostalgia factor, being my first Far Cry. Voss is still fantastic, but in terms of side characters, I'd say that's where it's probably lacking. I feel like there's more entertaining characters and how the game concludes, those characters are more important in comparison to a Far Cry 3, where it's just like you see them occasionally and they may or may not have really anything going on in terms of importance. I feel like Far Cry 5 does a better job with that. So, shout out to that. I'm excited to try out New Dawn next week. Maybe I'll talk about that briefly on next week's episode, as this will be my first time playing that. But TBD. And like TJ said, if you want to watch the Far Cry streams or other stuff, twitch.tv, appreciate it, /Enigma911. We jump into Far Cry 5, eventually Far Cry 6, and we got other stuff going on over there. As for new stuff, I've jumped into the world of VR. I finally have been getting back into that. Unfortunately, the adapter for the PC has not worked. I got to figure out some stuff there in terms of Bluetooth connectivity. So I haven't jumped into that spray paint game that I talked about a while ago, which is a bit of a bummer.
Right.
But I did try out Before Your Eyes, which I gave a shout out a few weeks ago too. Played that for about half hour, 45 minutes last night. Ooh, it's good. I'm really enjoying what they're setting up. I'm starting to get glimpses of like that tension personally of like, ooh, this game, as I said and as I've heard, is gonna mess me up once I get to the later stages of it. So if you guys haven't heard of Before Your Eyes, what it is, this is a game that focuses on eye tracking. And your eye blinks is a main component of this game. As you open the game or start the game up, blinking does not matter. You can do it as much as you want, but you are brought upon this ship by this like wolf dog character, and he's talking to you of how he's bringing you to this big tower, and at this tower someone is going to essentially judge you as an individual and your life. He's going to be like your representative, and he's going to share with this judge your experiences in life, and they're going to make a decision based on his retelling of it if you live happily or if you kind of go into purgatory, it seems. So he tells you this gimmick, and he's like, he wants you to just share your life. And that's where you get transported into your former self as a baby, and you progressively see scene after scene of you aging. Now, your blink can go forward a few minutes. Your blink can go forward a few years. You don't know. And he explains that to you. He's like, you gotta be careful out there and just realize what's going to be happening. So the gameplay is just you sitting there. There's a few interactive moments where you can look at something, observe something, interact with something in the scene. But mostly this is like a story that is being told, and you're there as a viewer kind of taking in what this character's narrative and experience was. So from the few chapters I have played, I haven't hit anything of like really big emotional like loss yet. I'm still, I think I got to age 10 with my character around that point, and I just met a character named Chloe who's like a new neighbor character that I'm meeting for the first time. But as I'm playing around, you meet your parents, you kind of pick up on like you have some musical talent and you're exploring that, and you guys adopted a cat and you get to see that fun reveal and surprise. But there's been a few times where every scene will start, you'll hear dialogue, and at some point a little metronome clicks in front of you in a little spot.
Ooh.
And that kind of tells you like the main point has been discussed, but if you can hold on for a little longer, you'll get a little extra information that you can kind of pick up on. So sometimes you catch yourself and you blink and you're like, oh no, I wanted to go back and hear the thing. So like, for example, with the cat, I was like, oh, he's adorable. It's a little one-eyed kitty. And the mom's talking about how she's allergic, but you look so happy, so we're going to figure it out. And they're like, oh, and the cat's name, let's name him. And I blinked and I was like, no, what's the cat's name? I don't know. So far it's been goofy stuff like that where I've missed a few tidbits of information just because I have blinked a little too soon or too early. However, there's been 2 instances where the scenes have popped up and it's been very ominous. There's no dialogue. The rooms are a little darker. and the tone in terms of music is kind of more solemn. And I'm like confused, like, what am I supposed to do here? Because you don't move around or anything. It's literally just your POV and no other movement other than that. And both of those instances, I did not hang on long enough, and I blinked, and I'm like, oh shit, what did I miss? What context for my overall story and life have I missed based on those things? Other than that, everything's been very cheery. It does seem like it's a short game. Out of the 4 chapters I've completed, there's 13 in total. So I hope to wrap it up or jump back into it at some point this weekend and maybe talk about it in its completeness next week. But so far, really enjoying it. Just, yeah, it's setting in like, ooh boy, this is going to be tough. I will say for PlayStation VR 2, which I'm playing this on, it may have been how I had it set up, but eye blinks didn't always register. So there was a few times where I was trying to interact with something and I had to kind of blink a few times to do so. Could have just been a setup thing, could have been sweat, who knows, because it was working great earlier. And for those of you guys worried, like, oh, I don't think I could ever play this game, that sounds too stressful with the blinking thing, you can turn that off. There is a mode where you don't have to, or it's a setting at the beginning. I don't know how the game plays out in comparison. Because obviously, you know, the eye blinking mechanic kind of forces the narrative along. So I don't know if it's just a button prompt or if the story will resonate with you as much because you have that accessibility option turned on. However, there is still a way that you could get this if you wanted to. Might be something I do like afterwards, after I play through it once, just to kind of see what I did miss. Appreciate it being there. But yeah, good time so far with Before Your Eyes.
Cool.
And then a real quick one, another VR game. I played Smash Drums. This is another Guitar Hero-like drumming game. Another one that I personally really, really love is Drums Rock. Smash Drums, another solid Guitar Hero-like with the drums or rock band. You can play it a few different ways. Classic mode is your classic Guitar Hero style. With the notes coming down on a little fretboard, and you're hitting either the drums in front of you or the cymbals that correspond with the colors, jamming out to the music, various difficulties available to you. You can play it where if you fail enough, the whole song will fail, or you can play it where you just go all the way through, it doesn't even matter, and you're just doing it for fun. So there's the classic mode, and then they have what they call like their standard mode. And it's the same concept where it's a timing thing where the notes will be flying at you, but instead of it being the fretboard and the notes coming down in colors, they have literal drums and cymbals fly at you. And when they get in front of you, you want to hit them. I'm a little mixed on that type of game mode. It doesn't feel like I can get into a good enough rhythm, especially being a drumming game, with the drums flying at me. Like looking at the board and the notes coming down, it's more of a timing thing, like, okay, bam. It's ultimately the same thing. I just don't like the presentation of it, and maybe it's just me having to get used to it. So that's been my only like on it. There's also a fusion mode, which I guess mixes the two together. I didn't try that out. But there's an arcade mode. I just played kind of like quick play where you can pick your song and just go into it. They do have a bunch of licensed music available for DLC content. Some really good songs on there. The stuff they have on disc, as far as I know, is all original stuff. Some good, some bad. I didn't dip my toes too much into that. But I will give a shout to how they handle you finishing a track. You'll get resources for unlockables. You can unlock different customization for your avatar and VR and whatever, and that's nice. But instead of backing out to the track list and manually selecting your song. You could still do that if you're like looking for something specific. They'll give you like 2 or 3 recommendations on the side, and you can just jump right into that next song without having to go back into a menu, select it, reload in, all that stuff. And I really appreciate that. Getting back into the gameplay quick. But yeah, that's it. Just those 3 titles for me, with Far Cry 5, Before Your Eyes, and Smash Drums. What about you, TJ? What have you been playing this week?
That sounds great, by the way. Before Your Eyes sounds really appealing to me. I don't own a VR set, but if I did, that would be top of my list right now.
Yeah, I don't think you need VR. Like, I think on Steam you might be able to play it just with like a webcam, and like I don't know if it automatically integrates an eye tracking software, but you could do it with that. I think it's just the headset was something they added post launch to get more
Oh, okay.
immersive. I think that I would
I'd
say
be worried about the
research.
glare on my plastic glasses not
Sure,
conveying my eyes very well, so I definitely would probably need a VR set for it to work. But
sure.
yeah, that sounds really cool. I've been playing one game and one game only. No, I did that gimmick last week. I've just been playing Mewgenics though,
Hey.
and some Marvel Rivals, but mostly Mewgenics. I decided to dip my toes into it. It's everywhere in the turn-based community, everybody is talking about it, turn-based strategy and stuff. So I was like, well, I've got it. Even the Fire Emblem subreddit had some eugenic stuff, and I
Oh
was like,
wow.
all right, you son of a gun. All right, I'll give it a shot. So I downloaded the game, and man, is it a good time. I can see where the XCOM comparisons come in, only in the in-between runs. So basically, how it starts off is you have a house, and you have your cats in there, and it takes food to feed your cats every night. You get one stray cat per day, so you bring in new stray cats, and then you end your day, and at night the cats they be fucking and they'll make new kitties, or there'll be a gay or lesbian couple and they won't make new kittens, or they'll fight each other instead and they'll get a negative modifier for your next run. But sometimes you get kittens out of it, so you get strays and kittens. And what you want to do is, once you get 4 cats, because they do eat up, it eats up one food for each cat that you have every night. And you can only store 100 food.
Okay.
So it goes pretty quickly. You really want to be going on your adventures as soon as possible, because when you go on your adventures, you collect more food to bring back to your house and more money and things. However, uh, there's a risk reward in that whenever you finish a level, a floor, it is a roguelike. So imagine just like, you have your first dungeon and then a boss. You can choose to go back home, or you can choose to go down another level. If you go back home, you get to keep all the food and money and resources that you've collected so far. If you go down another level, if you die and you don't make it all the way back to your house, you lose all of the resources that you've gathered up to that point. So there is that risk reward part. There was a time when I was very low on food. I had like 2 food for 6 cats. So I went on, the first level was called the alley. So I did the alley like 3 times in a row just to stock up my food, where I didn't go down to the further level, which is the sewers, because I was just needing to stack up some food. So there's some cool gameplay mechanics like that. The gameplay itself is cats, and you get 4 cats. You put collars on the cats that give them classes.
Hmm.
So like you can be a fighter or a mage or a cleric or a ranged like a ranger. And that changes the cats up, and they have random stat modifiers, the cats, and then when you put the collar on, it gives them another random thing. And then on top of that, you can give them items, which gives them more random effects. So every run is different by a large margin. And I will say that the items, one of my biggest gripes about The Binding of Isaac is that the items do not tell you what they do.
Hmm.
You just have to figure it out in gameplay. And I hated that. It's one of the reasons I love Enter the Gungeon so much is they have the Gunpendium, where you open up the Gunpendium and it tells you exactly what the item does. You know exactly what's going on, even if it's a passive effect. In the Binding of Isaac, there is no such thing as the Gunpendium, so you're just kind of stuck. I think it's called the Gunpendium. If it's not, I'm gonna sound stupid, but it's whatever it is, the Gunpedia, whatever it is.
Mhm.
So in this game, they make it's the same makers of the Binding of Isaac, but they have made the decision to actually explain what all of the items do, which helps tremendously for new players. So I'm able to understand and weigh the pros and cons of each items. All the cats can equip like 6 items each, in different slots, so it gets pretty crazy. It gets pretty nutso. Um, and like I said, the cats have random modifiers where like one of my cats was dyslexic.
Mm.
So all of the text for that cat was all jumbled up and I couldn't read what the cat what some of the effects were for the cat. But also his damage was dyslexic. So it wasn't always the same damage output. It was a random damage modifier every time. Um, but yeah, let me talk about the actual gameplay. It's on a grid.
Mhm.
It's isometric, and it's very grid-based classic. Like I said, I want to say like Fire Emblem style, where you have the 4 squares around you. You know, 1 square in front of you, 1 square behind you, 2 squares to the side of you. You're not really doing diagonal stuff at all. Like if a kitty is diagonal from you, you cannot like buff it or whatever. Like if you have a effect to buff your allies, it won't work if the cat's diagonal from you. We're really going off of the front, the 4 main sides there. Um, but yeah, it plays on a grid, and it's turn-based combat. It is not my preferred style of turn-based combat, where it is your team goes, then their team goes. It is, which is that's classic Fire Emblem, where it's like you move your entire squad, so you can set up stuff where you're like, okay, I'm gonna have my archer hit this guy, and I'm gonna have my guy charge in, or whatever. Um, it is based on a timeline, kind of like Baldur's Gate, where it's just based on initiative and who has faster initiative. So there's a timeline at the top that tells you the turn order that goes in. Um, let's see what else. There's a wide variety of enemies as well. There's rats, there's birds, there's other cats. There's like buff cats, there's sewer cats, there's shark cats. I read a review from IGN. He said he played it for 150 hours and he was still discovering new enemy types.
Damn.
So I've only played the game for 10 hours and I'm still amazed at the variety of enemies, because all the enemies act completely differently and have different status effects and stuff. Um, I said it's pretty nuts the amount of variety in all the abilities and stuff that goes on in the game. Um, so you go on this little adventure and you're going through, and it's like Slay the Spire, except for you don't have choices, but it's like that little map where it's like this is a enemy encounter, this is a item pickup, this is a random event, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And you get to it. So let's say you go back to your house then with all your cats. Well, those cats that you just went on an adventure with, you cannot go on an adventure with them again.
Hmm.
Those cats are retired, so you have to put them down a pipe. And the cat pipe, you send them to different people. You send different cats. Some people want. There's one guy who wants retired cats, so you send your retired cats down there. Now you want to keep a couple of them around so they can breed,
Hmm.
but you don't want to have too many of them because your food overhead will be too much. So you send them down a pipe, you shove them down a pipe to a guy who randomly wants retired cats. Sometimes your cats will die in the house. There's a guy who wants your dead cats, so you put the dead cat down the pipe, it'll get him. There's one creepy guy who only wants baby cats, so you send him all the baby cats, if you want to. I think this is what goes into expanding your house. However, I have not given people enough cats to get to that point. Like I said, I've only played for about 10 hours now, so I haven't expanded my house too much. I've expanded some furniture in the inside and some blueprints and stuff. But yeah, you want to keep recycling your cats so that you get more bonuses and stuff. Um, it's a crazy good time. The boss fights are incredibly fun. There's like I've encountered at least 6 different bosses for the first area alone, which is insane. Usually, there's like 2 or 3 in a roguelike for the first area, but I just keep encountering different bosses, and as I've only gone down to the 3rd level. The game says I've completed it 3%.
Oh,
So
okay.
this game is massive. I think that's one of the reasons it's successful is because the value proposition for $30 is huge. If you gel with the gameplay at all, you will really get a lot out of the game. Um, I haven't talked about the art style and everything that much because honestly, I don't really like the art style that much. I wish it was something else,
Mm.
but the gameplay is so good and the mechanics are so solid that it's really carried me through. Um, like I said, I only have 5 classes unlocked right now too, and there's 9 classes in total, 9 callers at least that I can see. So right now I'm leaving out. You're leaving out one class basically because I'm only choosing 4 out of the 5 with the 4 cats, and I'm always going cleric because he can lick other cats, and then that will give them like 5 health.
Hmm.
Uh, or you can use that same attack to damage enemies. I didn't even talk about the damage in this game. There's there's magic abilities. You get magic points. So each cat is you have like a basic attack, which is based off your class, and then you have magic abilities that are you get one of them that's going to be randomly generated by just your cat in general. But then every time you beat an enemy encounter, one of your cats will be randomly selected, and that cat will get an additional bonus ability. Um, and those are randomized as well, and they're pretty game changing. Like one of them was my tank cat because you can get a tank. There's a tank class. My tank cat was able to throw cats.
Oh.
So you can throw you can throw your ally cats like across the map, and they do damage when they land, and then they can move after that.
Hmm.
So it was like a huge boost to my team. One of them was the healing cat. I can revive dead cats, or I can heal from far away with the cleric and stuff. Yeah, the fighter one, I could inflict bleeding damage and poison damage with like every attack on enemies and stuff. So a lot of crazy things going on. And like I said, that's every time you do an enemy encounter, it randomly generates new abilities for your cats. And like I said, they're already randomly generated. So I will say I kind of downplayed it. You get 2 random abilities. So you get one random ability for the cat itself, then you get one random ability for the class. So you're getting 3 abilities per cat right off the rip, with potential passive abilities as well. So every run is completely different. All the cats are completely different. It's a lot of fun. If you like turn-based tactics games at all, I would highly suggest this game because like I said, the mechanics are so deep. It's just ignore the fact that it's weirdly about cats fucking and just go just go into it with the appreciation for the turn-based grid-based combat, and you'll be surprised at how many tweaks to the turn-based formula the game actually makes. It's really incredible. I've been as a longtime fan of the genre, I can't praise Mewgenics highly enough. It's incredible. It's given me the feeling like when I first played Baldur's Gate 3, when I was just like, oh, I want to see if this attack does this, if I can do this attack with this ability and see if it happens like that. Like it's giving me that turn-based kind of frenzy, which I haven't had in years. So I'm very excited to see how this game plays out, and I can't wait to play more of it. Honestly, I can't wait till this podcast is over so I can fire up some Mewgenics.
Very nice. Very cool.
Yeah. Um. So having me said all of that, does that make you want to play Mewgenics at all?
Yeah,
Or
I'm definitely more intrigued. That sounds interesting of like the cats coming in because like I'm scared or that makes me a little worried with like how you said you can only go on one run with the cats. So I'm like,
Mhm.
hey, you're gonna get attached to these guys. But then also you're like, oh, this cat was a badass on this run. Well, too bad he can't go anywhere else, or she can't do anything. So I assume it's also a well, maybe it's not, but is it like a little bit of a meta game too, where you talked about them banging? Do you try and keep like, okay, this is a powerful cat, this is a powerful cat. If they bang, they'll make a more powerful kitten, eventually be a cat. Yeah, it works like that.
Yeah, it works like that because
Okay.
sometimes, like my starting cats, I was getting like 16 HP
Mm-hmm.
or so for each run, and now my cats, because I've been a super breeder, now my cats have like 33 HP on average
Gotcha.
when
Okay.
I'm going out, which means I can go way deeper into the challenges into the sewers and stuff like that.
Sure. Okay. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that you got those 2 layers of games. Yeah, it sounds great. I'll definitely have to pick somebody and watch some gameplay of it and see if it tickles my fancy. The only bummer, personally, Steam only, but who knows?
Yeah, yeah, because the whole game controls with just the mouse.
Mm,
So it controls very well with just the mouse, but yeah, to implement it into other stuff, they'd have to implement controller support and
sure.
stuff. And I don't know if they have the resources for that yet, but they should because they sold over 1 million copies,
Yeah,
so they
that and
should.
binding, Jesus.
Yeah, they should hire somebody to do controller mapping now.
Mhm.
But yeah, one last part about Mewgenics I will say, which I think is adorable and great. The cats are all named themselves. You don't name them.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
good.
in the previous episode I said that you could name the cats. I was incorrect.
Hmm.
They get named. I just saw a silly name in Co Carnage's gameplay, and I assumed that he named them himself. But nope, you get cats that are named, and I got a cat named Bofidis, and Bofidis was my man. He was running through all of he solo shotted the boss. And I
Mhm.
was like, Bofidis. And the other thing is not only are your cats named already, but your party of cats gets named every time you go out.
Oh,
So
okay.
every time you go on an adventure, it'll be like the Spelunking Idiots or whatever. And it just makes up a randomized name. So it's just delightful all the way around.
Mhm.
It's really pleasant.
Awesome. Very cool. Glad you're loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's gonna be it for what we've been playing. Now is into the dun 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 cue lightning crash editor. The mystery section. So, Brett, what would you say is your preferred platform of gaming?
I would say it's the Jaguar CD. No, it's the
Oh,
PlayStation.
okay. Oh, in that case, I gotta throw out what I've prepared, and I don't have any Jaguar CD questions prepped. No, it is the PlayStation. So, I had so much fun torturing you with a true or false questionnaire last time, with general video game knowledge. So now I'm gonna give you a true or false questionnaire specifically about the PlayStation and Sony PlayStation,
Woohoo!
the history of the PlayStation and games that have been big on the platform in general.
Okay. Time for everybody to
So you,
yell at me for that PlayStation 1 history. Because, oh boy.
yeah. Speaking of which, question number one. The original PlayStation was originally developed as a CD-ROM add-on for the Super Nintendo before becoming a standalone console.
Oh, okay. I remember this one from the last one. True.
Yeah, I kind of gave that one away.
Hey,
I was
that's
like,
all good.
is he gonna
I'm
remember?
glad I learned.
Is he gonna? Does he listen to me? No.
Hey, I
This
had to
one's
answer
pretty
that one
easy.
fast too. So
True. Yeah, these are medium fast questions. Remember, we have a lightning round.
oh,
So.
great.
Yeah, you gotta Goldilocks these ones. Not too fast, not too slow.
hmm
Number two, the DualShock controller debuted alongside the original PlayStation at launch in 1994.
Yeah, but it didn't have the analog sticks.
False, because that's not the DualShock. It was just called I don't know what it was called,
Oh,
but it
really?
wasn't called the DualShock.
Wasn't
Yeah, the
called the
DualShock's
DualShock
what the
without the
control
analogs.
suck.
It's just nakey thing.
Just naked, yeah. I
Oops.
didn't look up what it was called.
Nah, that's fine. Yeah, I know the
Um,
analog sticks came later. Everybody says it's Ape Escape that made the analog sticks or was the first game to use them. I don't know if that's 100% accurate. I've heard some disclaims against that, but in my heart of hearts, Ape Escape was the first game that used the analog sticks.
yeah, that's what I thought it was too. So I
Yeah.
hope that's not apocryphal. I hope it really is Ape Escape.
Yeah.
Okay, number three, Gran Turismo was the best-selling PlayStation 1 game worldwide. The
Huh.
original Gran Turismo.
There's a good chance because that, no offense, is a more casual title, and Gran Turismo did very, very well in the racing sim. Final Fantasy VII popped in my head, and it was popular, but I don't know if that would have had the outreach of something more casual of a Gran Turismo type or a sport type game. I'll say true.
It is true.
Hey. That's why they
Number
made a
four,
movie.
Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, that's why they made a fantastic movie.
With
Actually
David
never seen the
Harbour.
movie. I have no idea.
Never saw
Is it a good movie?
Oh,
Okay.
I never saw. I just know David Harbour's in it, and they kind of be like, "Ooh, this gamer's in a real race," and I'm like, "Oh God, all right, nope."
oh God, why?
Yeah.
Please end it all. Number four, Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy title released in North America.
False.
False. I think I don't actually know. I need to know that. I don't know why I didn't look this.
No, I think they had
Uh,
some on the Nintendo
they
consoles. That's the word. Systems.
renumbered them in North America.
Yeah, there's a little mix-up somewhere, but similar to a Street Fighter scenario. A triangle of characters getting renamed, but...
Oh, actually, the very first Final Fantasy was released in North America on the Nintendo Entertainment System on July 12th, 1990.
There you go.
So there you go. The more you know. The PlayStation 2 supported DVD movie playback out of the box without requiring additional accessories.
Correct. True.
Correct. Yeah, that was a pretty easy one.
That's how I watch
We're old
movies
enough to remember
sometimes.
that. Yeah. I wish I still had a PlayStation 2 because I have freaking DVDs that nobody can watch anymore. And you can't sell them because they're worth like 3 nickels.
Right, yeah.
And, yeah. So they're just in my garage. Fantastic. Ico and Shadow of the Colossus were directed by the same person.
Yes.
True.
Okay, good.
Wow, you're doing great.
Thanks.
Number 7, the launch model of the PlayStation 3 included built-in Wi-Fi across all versions.
Ooh. See, I know a different fun fact about the base PS3, but I don't know this fun fact.
That looked like a George Foreman grill?
Well, that, but no, the base. If you got a launch PS3, you could play. It was backwards compatible, I believe.
Yeah, you could play PlayStation 2 and 1 games.
Yeah, but then if you got a later re-release of the PlayStation 3, it didn't have that capability. Sucked.
Yeah.
I'll say frickin' true.
It is false. Didn't have Wi-Fi built-in. You had to buy an adapter, which was a big kerfuffle
I
at the
should have
time.
known that. That was the Xbox 360 had that too, with the little thing in the back, the dongle.
The little dongle, yeah. Little Big Planet was developed by Media Molecule.
True, love it.
True.
So many
absolutely.
hours wasted in that game. Shout out to Mudhorn.
If you don't get this one correct, I'm gonna end the podcast forever.
You can make a new co-host. You don't need me here. I don't know how you do the rest of it. But...
No, Demon Souls directly inspired the creation of Dark Souls.
Who would have thought? That's true.
True. Yeah, that one's a good me. Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots was never released on any console other than the PlayStation 3.
Correct. Until now, Master Collection coming out.
Yes, that's true. So I put that one in there because of the Master Collection. The PlayStation Portable featured a second analog stick.
The PSP?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. A second analog stick? I think that's true. I'm trying to think back to... Mudhorn was the only one I knew had one. IRL. I think I had two.
That is false. It just had the one on the right side.
Huh.
I love the PSP.
Oh, it just had the D-pad on the left.
Yeah, it just had the D-pad, then it had the one under the 4 buttons on the right-hand side.
Yeah, okay.
Number 12, Resistance: Fall of Man was a PlayStation 3 launch title in North America. Everybody remembers the Resistance games?
Oh. I don't know why I wasn't thinking the alien shooter, and I was like, what the hell is this? Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, Resistance: Fall of Man was a PlayStation 3 launch title in North America.
Damn. Mr. K-Step, aka Kyle from the Trophy Room. This is like one of his favorite series, but I never touched any of them. I'll say true.
It is true.
Yes.
Great series, by the way. Absolutely phenomenal, graphics-wise and stuff. Number 13, the PlayStation Vita used proprietary memory cards.
True.
True, and it's a pain in my ass. I still love the Vita. I was one of the few Vita supporters. I remember I made the very savvy gaming move back in my day where I sold my Wii U for a PlayStation Vita, both very successful video game platforms. That was a great trade. Number 14, Bloodborne runs at 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 4 hardware.
I think false, because I think there was a patch on PC for 60 frames that everybody was freaking out about.
Correct. It is false. Yeah, I
Still runs
wish it
great
ran
at
at
30,
60
don't get me
frames.
wrong. I don't pay attention to frame data, but runs great.
Oh, you can tell in Bloodborne.
Oh,
This is
yeah?
so fast. Oh, you can tell.
Oh.
Uncharted 2 Among Thieves won Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
Oh, balls. People tout about 2 and 3, and they debate which one's better. Did it get Game of the Year, though? At the Game
Uncharted 2 is
Awards?
better.
I enjoyed both. It's been many years. I'll say true.
It is false.
Damn.
It did not win the Game Awards. Actually, now I want to know.
I was going to say, do you know what did?
No, but now I want to.
Mm,
Let's see. Uncharted 2.
I'm trying to think of what year that was. Is it Portal 2?
Release year is 2009.
A chance.
Game Awards winner 2009. Not 2090. 2009. Assassin's Creed 2.
Oh, okay. Mr.
That
Ezio
makes
making
sense.
his debut.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, number 16. God of War 3 was later remastered for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah. Correct, true.
True.
Yep.
True. Number 17. The PlayStation 4 Pro was Sony's first console to support 4K output.
I believe true.
That's true. Number 18. Horizon Zero Dawn uses the same engine later used for Death Stranding.
Oh, no. False.
True.
What? I thought
Yeah.
Kojima had his own engine. Is it the Decima?
As a fun aside, did you know that the Lord of the Rings games, like the movie tie-in
Yeah,
games,
fantastic
Two Towers
games.
and the Third, yeah, fantastic games, right? Did you know that the engine that they used was actually a PGA tour engine?
Cool. Huh.
Yeah, they used golf engines for that game, so I thought that was fun. And they pay homage to that by having a Lord of the Rings themed golf section in one of the later golf
Oh,
games.
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I just found that out, so I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I could have swore Kojima used his own engine, but yeah, must be mixing it up, obviously. All right.
Yeah, pretty cool though that
Yeah.
it's the Horizon Zero
Both
Dawn
phenomenal
engine.
looking games.
Yeah, both great engine, very solid to be able to. I can't think of the word host all that action.
Sure.
It was support. That's the word I was looking for. Number 19, Spider-Man Miles Morales was available on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 at launch.
Sure was. Yeah, true.
Yeah, it was.
It was like, wait,
Very
hold on, where did I play it?
Number 20, the PlayStation 5 uses a liquid metal thermal interface material for cooling.
False. I ripped that thing apart and I don't remember seeing liquid.
It is true.
It's contained.
That's pretty cool though. Number 21, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was designed to showcase the PS5's SSD technology.
True.
True. 22, The Last of Us Part 2 was the first PlayStation exclusive to win multiple Game of the Year awards.
False.
False. Correct. Number 23, Killzone Shadowfall was a launch title for the PlayStation 4.
Oh. I'm trying to, I think I picture the case, but then I had it in a PlayStation 3 case, and I'm like, wait, hold on, was it a PlayStation 4 case? Another one I did not play, Killzone.
Killzone is incredible. Oh my god.
You said
Killzone is
launch
good.
title for PS4?
For the PlayStation 4, yeah.
I believe that's true.
That is true.
Yes.
Number 24, Astrobot Rescue Mission required PlayStation VR to play.
Rescue mission. There is certainly one that's VR, and I played it. Is it Rescue Mission? The title I'm thinking is Astro's Playroom, which is... Oh. Is that VR? Shit. Oh, brother. Oh, no. Okay. Shit. Okay. Rescue Mission, yes, VR. Playroom was not VR. So your question, I will say true.
It is true.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, we have a lot on the line here.
We do.
Number 25. The original PlayStation console model, SCPH-1001 in North America, had built-in RCA audio outputs in addition to the multi-out port.
False.
True.
False.
Okay, now we're going to get into the speed rounds for question 26 through 30.
Alrighty.
Okay, so answer as fast as you can.
Okay.
Twisted Metal 2 was originally an arcade game before its PlayStation release.
False.
False. Journey allows players to communicate with voice chat during online play.
False. It's got a beautiful
False.
game mechanic, though.
Yeah, it does. It has a great non-voice chat communication ability. Infamous 2 allows players to make moral choices that affect the story outcome.
True. Same with the first one and Second Son.
Yeah, it was like a big... Second Son is a very underrated game, by the way.
Sure.
I love that game so much. Yeah. Gran Turismo 7 was released exclusively on PlayStation 5.
True.
True. And this one... sorry, it's false. My bad. I was reading number 30.
Okay,
I was so excited by question number 30 that I misspoke. You better get this one correctly because you brought this up earlier. Demon Souls was developed by Bluepoint Games.
True.
True. Sad, but true.
Yeah.
You did great. Winston, do you want to tell them what they've won? A brand new car. So I did the Gen Z Phantom scream. I didn't mean to do that. That was bad. Okay.
All good.
But yeah, you did a great job.
Thank you.
That was incredible. I was not keeping track of how many you got right. I probably should have done that. But we're going to say you got at least most of them right.
Decent amount.
Yeah, that's a mathematically quantifiable number. Most of them.
You win most of them.
Most of them. Okay. So that was our mystery section for the day. I really appreciate it. Thank you for participating.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Now is going to be our last section of the podcast, which is just, hey, man, what do you want to play in the future?
Hey, man, what I'd like to play in the future, I don't remember where I first saw this indie title, probably 6-1 Indie Showcase or one of the plethora of other indie showcases that are hosted numerous times around the year. I'd like to give a shout out to Waxheads. There's a demo out now on Steam, but here's a little synopsis. Waxhead is a cozy punk narrative sim about working in the struggling record store. Chat to quirky customers with unique tastes, explore a handcrafted record collection, fall in love with bands and their drama, or just slack off with your colleagues. Whatever gets everyone's groove back. It's coming out May 5th. It's developed by Patati Games and published by Curve Games. And they just announced that it is coming out on PlayStation and Switch, I believe, as well as Steam. So excited for that. That it's coming out to my platform. So yeah, looks fun. Kind of chatting heads, store management type thing, and get some cool grooves and music with it as well.
Oh, that's very cool. That sounds delightful, honestly.
Yeah.
Love the record store aesthetic.
Yeah, very cool art style with it.
Reminds me of that one movie with John Cusack, and now I can't think of the name of the movie. Jack Black's in it.
School of Rock.
They're in a record store.
Oh.
Not School of Rock. They're in a record store.
Jumanji. The Super Mario movie.
High Fidelity is the name of the movie.
Never would have got it.
Great movie. Fantastic. That's where I learned the phrase #1 with a bullet. Very unrelated to the game that you brought up, but just was on my mind.
There you go.
Very cool though, that game. For me, my future game that I want to shout out is a game that's already out. It's been out for 26 years. And that game is Diablo 2
Oh, okay.
Resurrected. I know I bitched and moaned about the $25 Warlock class being unlocked, but as of February 20th, 2026, which is today at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is tonight at 8 o'clock for us East Coasters.
Yep.
The first 300 verified Warlock players to reach level 99 on the hardcore ladder will have their legacy engraved in a physical monument on Blizzard campus. I kind of want to try to do that.
All right, all right.
I may get no sleep this weekend, but that seems really cool. I do want to get my name engraved. When Diablo 4 launched, I spent countless hours watching other Diablo 4 players try and get to the level 99 on their hardcore run. Actually, I don't think it was level 99 in Diablo 4. I think it's level 200 or something. But I watched them try. Oh no, it was level 50. That's what it was. So I watched them try to get to level 50 in hardcore Diablo 4, and it was a lot of fun because people would get to like level 44 and then die, and
Ah.
then you get to start all over again. And
Ah.
they'd be boosting their friends and stuff and just like staying up for like literally I watched Will Neff, and he stayed up for like 26 hours straight just grinding Diablo, so mad respect. But yeah, I kind of want to try. I kind of want to get into that madness. And even if I fail, at least I'll have the Warlock class,
For
you know what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely want to maybe give that a shot. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to do that 8 o'clock tonight. It's it's still up in the air. But even if I don't try this hardcore run, I think I will still try out Diablo 2 because I only have it on the Switch, and it is kind of hard to read the menus and go to parse through everything on the Switch Lite. So maybe having it on the PC will be a little bit better. Plus, it's a click to play, you know what I mean? Like I can click to attack and stuff. So maybe I can finally learn the PC controls of Diablo because I am always a filthy controller user on Diablo 4, which irks some people. So
Hmm.
we will see. See if I can finally adapt to PC controls. But yeah, that's going to do it for the Relatively Gaming Podcast, episode number 29. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you, as always, for your support. Please leave a like or a comment. If you comment something down below, we'll most likely talk about it in the next episode. We can't help ourselves. We'll definitely talk about it. So please comment something below or like or share. We appreciate or subscribe or do all the things. We appreciate your support in any capacity, even if you just watched. Thank you so, so much. You guys are the best. And have a fantastic rest of your Monday.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. Steam Next Fest next week.
See you next fest. Woo!